Star Wars fans, buckle up because I want to take you on a wild speculation ride that's going to end us with the conclusion of Mace Windu returning in the Book of Boba Fett. Let's get into it and figure out how exactly it could make sense and how it's going to happen. For about half a year now, scoopers, leakers, and Star Wars fans everywhere have been speculating on who could end up showing up in the Book of Boba Fett. One of the names that has been long rumored and hoped to be in the show is Mace Windu, and while there hasn't been too much concrete evidence of him being in the show, I think I've gathered enough evidence that might prove he is in it. Now throughout this, there's going to be two types of evidence that we have, one being real life evidence and the other being evidence in the show. So let's start with the evidence that has been in the show so far. The beginning of the Book of Boba Fett actually starts off with some flashback scenes, and the very first flashbacks that we see are of the Slave One leaving Kamino, and then of a young Boba Fett holding Jango Fett's helmet on the battlegrounds of the Battle of Geonosis. Right away, these flashbacks are big hints to Mace Windu, as Boba Fett is still seemingly struggling with the death of his father all those 30 some odd years ago. In fact, back in the Clone Wars, when Boba Fett was arrested and taken to a Republic prison, he had a conversation with Mace Windu after trying to assassinate him, in which he apologized for the wrongdoings that he had done during the Clone Wars and during that time period, but said that he would never forgive Mace Windu for what he did killing his father. All this time later in the Book of Boba Fett, it's clear he still has not forgiven him. And to bring it to the real life side of speculation, Tamura Morrison himself within the past couple of weeks around the time of the promotion of the Book of Boba Fett had stated that Boba Fett was still angry with people like Mace Windu, and I think we're going to see some tie-in to that in the Book of Boba Fett finale. Now obviously the rest of the Book of Boba Fett flashbacks kind of stray away from the Kaminoan stuff, but we do see a couple more shots of Kamino, and repeatedly throughout the show, it seems like that has been a theme in the flashbacks. Of course, episodes 5 and 6 kind of strayed away from following Boba Fett, but we still got flashbacks in those, and I think the episode 6 flashback has way more to do with Mace Windu than we might realize. Now, along with all the freaking craziness that was in the Book of Boba Fett episode 6, there was also a flashback of Grogu during Order 66. At the end of this flashback, someone either seemingly saves him or he gets taken away by the 501st clone troopers. I think it's possible a Jedi came to the rescue and took Grogu. Not just any Jedi though. I think it was Mace Windu. Now how could it have been Mace Windu to save Grogu? Well, to go into other Star Wars canon and lore, let's first talk about if Mace actually lives. For years, fans have kind of speculated whether or not he survived that fateful encounter with Palpatine and Anakin, after getting his hand cut off, being shocked by some of the most powerful Force lightning Palpatine has ever had, and being yeeted out of a window. However, Samuel L. Jackson, the actor who plays Mace Windu, and George Lucas himself have both stated in the past that they believe Mace Windu lives. The hashtag Mace Lives is quite popular, and Samuel L. Jackson has frequently been behind it. Many fans would absolutely love to see a return of Mace Windu, and in the High Republic novel, The Light of the Jedi, there's actually a big reference to how he could have survived. Now, the High Republic is canon, and in the Light of the Jedi novel, at one point we follow a Master and Padawan who are very similar to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan in the prequels. Master Loden Greystorm and his apprentice Bel Zettifar once went to a planet with high mountain ranges similar to the Empire State Building kind of height levels, and the Master pushed Bel Zettifar off these ledges to try and get him to use the Force to protect himself when falling. This is straight up a callback to Mace Windu in my opinion, and it is kind of implied that every single Jedi kind of learns to do this at some point, and it would definitely make sense that Mace Windu would know how to survive a fall like this as well. In my opinion, this alone is a big hint to the fact that Mace Windu could have survived, but then we got this flashback in episode 6. And I think it's possible Mace could have survived the fall, gone back to the temple and rescued Grogu, and maybe we'll even see it in this episode 7 finale of the Book of Boba Fett. Now, to add on to this, there's other real-world implications, including an interview around 6 months ago with Ming-Na Wen saying something along the lines, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it was cool to work with Samuel L. Jackson as a Jedi, or it was very cool to work with a Jedi. And while she could have been referring to Luke Skywalker, she had already actually worked with Luke during that time in The Mandalorian. So it was just a really weird statement. She kind of tried to retract it right away. She tried to make it seem like she was talking about working with Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. cast, but it did seem like there was maybe a little bit something there, and a lot of scoopers and YouTubers picked up on it. Now, with my whole flashback theory and Mace Windu saving Grogu, the other day a picture kind of surfaced on Twitter of a smiling Samuel L. Jackson behind the scenes of Attack of the Clones, holding his lightsaber up to Tamura Morrison's neck as he played Jango Fett. And it was kind of cool because Pablo Hidalgo had quote tweeted it saying, "This party's starting." And while Mace Windu in that scene says, "This party's over" and everything, it's just really cool because it could be a hint to Mace Windu. Jordan Mason, a very reputable source, had kind of liked it. Not too many scoopers and people have kind of said that Mace Windu is going to be in the show, but we have heard that there are going to be some cameos in this finale that will melt minds, and Mace Windu would certainly do that. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. There's a lot of evidence that kind of stacks up, and it would make the Boba Fett series make a lot more sense having Grogu's flashback connected to Mace Windu and Mace Windu in the finale. But let me know what you guys think down in the chat below. Do you think Mace Windu could have survived the fall and Revenge of the Sith? And do you think that he's the one that saved Grogu? If you think it could have been someone else, let me know who you think it was down in the chat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more awesome Star Wars content, and smash the like button for me. It really does help the channel, and I appreciate you. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and may the Force be with you always.